So I'm going to discuss about nervous system of Unio. We know that Unio is a bivalve animal. Its common name is freshwater mussel. Earlier it was being provided for dissection purpose in MSc as well as BSc classes in most of the universities and colleges. But today I think that maybe that only in few academic institutions this animal is provided for dissection purpose. But anyway, we were dissecting it at large scale because it was available in plenty. We can say that so many aquatic water bodies actually have gone reduced in number, and that is why availability of this animal is quite less. Considering its dwindling population, government has actually banned its dissection. But if we dissect this animal just for the purpose to demonstrate students the internal organization of this animal, we can have idea that how delicate internal structures are there in Unio and how this Unio actually sorts out microscopic food materials from the incoming water, how gills help in that process, how such food content reaches to its anterior portion, and how its gills are actually organized. We can see its nervous system also, because that is one of the aspects which is actually given much emphasis in postgraduate as well as graduation level. So in this presentation I will mainly be focusing on the nervous system of Unio, that is freshwater mussel. See, this is the diagram in which you can have complete idea about the nervous system of this animal. We should know that the nervous system comprises paired ganglia, and nerves which connect such ganglia, and also very fine nerves which arise from the ganglia itself and reach to different parts of the body. So it means we can say that there are three different kinds of structures which forms its nervous system. The first one is paired ganglia. The second one is connective, which connects two different kinds of ganglia. And then the third one is commissure, which actually connects similar kind of ganglia. And then there are fine nerves coming out from these ganglia and innervating to different adjacent portions of its body. But if you see this structure, means the dark lines and these dark spots, these form actually the nervous system of the animal. So it is very simple kind of a structure. We find that Unio is a sluggish animal. It is very dull kind of animal. It moves very little, particularly during night time. It moves to some distance, and from deeper areas of water it may be coming to the shallow portions. And because of its sluggish nature, its nervous system is also highly reduced. So we can see that in some cases this structure is much complex. I mean to say that in certain species which are actually very active one, the nervous system may be highly developed, whereas in animals like such a bivalve animal, which is very slow, very dull kind of animal, the nervous system is very simple type. Now if you see in the anterior side, see this one is the anterior side. In the left portion, means this left portion is comparatively round structure, and this is the anterior part of the animal, whereas this right side structure is the posterior part of the animal. The upper portion is dorsal portion and this lower one is ventral part of the animal. So we have to actually remove its shell, and if you remove the shell you will find the presence of mantle. So you will have to put mantle on one side to see the internal organs. Now in the anterior portion on either side of mouth, actually mouth is located here, on either side of mouth you will find the presence of cerebral ganglia. So this one is a cerebral ganglion, this is another cerebral ganglion. One will be the right side of cerebral ganglion, the other one will be left side of the cerebral ganglion, situated on either side of the mouth. and then these two are connected by a very fine nerve, very fine nerve. Okay, so this one is cerebral commissure. See, this is cerebral commissure. And then the another ganglia, paired ganglia, is present in the ventral side of posterior adductor muscle. This one is a muscle. This is called as actually posterior adductor muscle. Here you can see this one is anterior adductor muscle. These two adductor muscles actually help to connect the two strong shell. So on the ventral side of posterior adductor muscle, and the X-shaped ganglia is present. Actually it is a single one, but it is formed by the fusion of two ganglia. So we use the term visceral ganglia because paired structure that gets fused in such a manner that it looks as a single structure. Okay, so this is X-shaped visceral ganglia, and you find that the left side of cerebral ganglion, from there a nerve will be coming and it will be joining with the visceral ganglia. So this one is cerebrovisceral connective because this nerve is connecting two different ganglia. So it is cerebrovisceral connective. Likewise, this is another cerebrovisceral connective. So a pair of cerebrovisceral connectives are there, which in fact connect the cerebral and visceral ganglia together. Then the third paired ganglia is pedal ganglia. See, this one is pedal ganglia. It is situated in the anterior 1/3 portion of the foot. This protruding lower portion is actually foot of the animal. This is a muscular structure, and if you will cut the foot from the lower side and will observe it in 1/3 portion of the foot, means from anterior, you just consider that this much portion is of foot, and from its anterior side you locate at 1/3 position. So here a paired ganglia will be present, and that is pedal ganglia. Okay, but these two ganglia are also very close to each other, although individuality could be seen over there. And then the nerves coming from cerebral ganglia will be connecting to these pedal ganglia, and you will find that such nerves are called as cerebropedal connective. So this is one cerebropedal connective, this is another cerebropedal connectives. So we have two pairs of connectives. One is cerebrovisceral connective, other one is cerebropedal connective, whereas a single commissure, that is cerebral commissure. And then there are very fine nerves. See, a very fine nerve is seen over here. Likewise, on the upper side you can see these are fine nerves. They are going to adjacent regions of the body, like the muscles, adductor muscles, retractor muscles, protractor muscles, and all those adjacent organs, visceral organs, which are present either in the foot region or in the anterior region or in the posterior region, means all such regions, they are innervated by very fine nerves which directly come from these ganglia. So it is such a simple type of ganglia that you can have idea about them. Now in this diagram exactly the same thing is shown, but what has been done, the two shells of right and left side are removed. Only the internal mantle, the right and left mantle is shown over there. Then inside you can see the presence of gills, and if you see the location of ganglia and connectives and commissures, you will find that in the anterior side this one is mouth. As I just said, on either side of mouth a pair of ganglia are there. Their size is the size of just like size of a pinhead, and it will be looking pale yellow in color. So this one is cerebral ganglion, this is another cerebral ganglion. The nerve which connect on the upper side of these two is cerebral commissure. And then in the foot region, as I said, from anterior to posterior, if you see, then almost at 1/3 position here a paired ganglia is seen, that is pedal ganglia, and it is connected with cerebral with the help of cerebrovisceral connective. So the arrangement looks exactly like this if you are able to dissect it. although these nerves are very fine, very thin, very carefully one has to actually remove the adjacent structures to exactly see that how they are going from one ganglion and reaching to the other one. Likewise, in the posterior most region, as I said, in the ventral portion of posterior adductor muscle, this one is posterior adductor muscle, a very prominent ganglia is situated, and that is visceral ganglia, X-shaped ganglia, and it is connected with cerebral ganglia with the help of cerebrovisceral connective. So there are two cerebrovisceral connective. These are also very fine nerves, and they go from this visceral ganglia on the upper side of each gill lamina, and rather you can say that inner gill laminae, so because it is a paired structure and there are two inner gill laminae. So from their upper side such fine nerves will be going and then joining with the cerebral ganglion of its respective side. So you can have idea exactly how the nervous system is organized in case of Unio. That idea you can gain by seeing this diagram.